What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Gaming with the Broscast, episode 209. My name is Harrison. I am joined by my brother Nick, as always. Nick, how are you doing, buddy?
What's up, man? I'm good. Doing good.
Yeah,
Doing
it's
great,
been
yeah.
it's been a pretty good week. We're gonna talk about some Dragons Dogma 2 here in a little bit, and I think we're both having a very
Fantastic.
fun time with this ridiculous game.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk about some news, of course. Some decent amount of stuff this week. I wasn't. I guess really today is when all the stuff kind of came out, as it usually does.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're talking about that. We're going to talk about the Princess Peach and the Rise of Ronin reviews. We both have not played that, but I think we were kind of both anticipating not maybe jumping into those games immediately.
Right.
Especially when Dragon's Dogma 2 launched on the same day. So
Yeah.
but
Crazy
before
day.
we dive into all that, Nick, how was your week, buddy?
It's pretty good, man. Just been watching NC State make their way
Kids Club.
through. What's
Nice.
that?
Oh, I was shout out to my end over in the comments.
Yeah, I was watching them. Make their way. They're in the Sweet 16 now. So,
Nice.
yeah, it's been cool. We got some ACC championship gear today when I went and got my haircut.
Okay.
Actually got my haircut, not
last
my
week.
fake appointment. But yeah, we picked up some ACC championship gear, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's been a fun week.
Cool.
Yeah, and then of course playing a lot of Final Fantasy and a lot of Dragon's Dogma too. Two really big games.
You have been like, I feel like I say it every week, but you are just like RPG'd to the max this year.
I wish they were more spread out.
Yeah,
like I wish
it's been a packed year for
bigger. I really want just like a 10-hour game, you know.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's like Dragon's Dogma, man. I want that to go on forever.
Yeah, it's a really good video game.
Yeah. How's your week?
It's good. I went to a wedding this weekend. One of our buddies got married. I haven't been to a ton of weddings in my life. Yours is the last one that I went to. But it was nice. It was a very, very short wedding, which you can always appreciate.
Oh yeah.
The food was pretty good. It was like they did like I've never been to it, but I know where it's at. But it's like a Mediterranean food. So that was really good. Get like the little tzatziki sauce and stuff like that. Salad.
Drizzle.
It was so good. And then after that, we went over to I think the guy's best man. We went over to his house for like an after party. They had like DJ, they had like a keg, and then they ended up doing like a big fire. And I think we ended up leaving, I think around like 8:30 ish. But it was a good time. Had to have some beer. Got warmed by the fire because it got super cold like really quickly. It's like a cold front came back through, which sucks. But
yeah,
because I'm just ready for that warm weather. I got teased
time.
A couple weeks ago.
It was like
nice. Almost 80.
It was so nice. Oh
man. And I cut my grass and I was like, yeah, I'm feeling really good now. Like I'm out. I'm doing walks every day. And then it's like, nah, it's back to cold. Yeah. So I still do my walks, but I did get me one of those like under the desk walking pads, like the treadmill without the
trigger. All right.
Yeah. Because I've been thinking about doing it for a while, and that was always a plan when I got my rising desk. So I found one like on a pretty good price. It was like under $150, and it's really good. So pulled the trigger on that. Been using that every day. That feels really good to get outside, go on a walk during lunch, and then after about an hour of working back from lunch, I'll walk on that for like an hour or so. So that feels really good. Yeah, it was a good weekend. We the kids left on Saturday, or they spent the night with our parents on Saturday because of the wedding, and then they left Sunday morning. So also kid free, which is it's you don't know until you have kids, and when you're kid free, it's nice to have a little bit of a break just to, I don't know, do some cleaning around the house and all that good stuff. So yeah, it was a good week.
Nice, man. Love to hear it.
Yeah. It was good. I don't think we don't have really much planned this week. That we're gonna take our grandma out, Brittany, to a restaurant tomorrow. And then I don't know. We might go out like on Thursday to like a one of our favorite restaurants over like a kind of a fancier restaurant. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, and I'm off Friday for Good Friday.
Dude, same here.
It's gonna be a good week,
It's
man.
gonna be good, man. It's gonna be a good
Can't
Friday.
wait. Yeah. I as busy I wasn't really super busy today, which was refreshing because it's just been so busy. But just going into this week, kid free, Friday off,
Mhm.
lots of Dragon's Dogma. It's gonna be good.
It's looking up, dude. It's looking, and you got your little, you got a little, what's that, little whiskey right there?
Little bourbon.
Little burb?
That's
What kind of bourbon is that?
it is the Brothers
Oh,
Bond
brand.
from
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
just straight.
Just straight, man. I've been kind of dabbling a little bit.
How is that going? How's the experience?
It's good. Like after like the first couple of sips, you're just like, it goes on pretty smooth.
Nice.
I got my little ice mold in there, little cubed ice mold.
Man,
It's good.
living large.
Living large. So yeah, it's gonna be a good week, man. I can
You know what? I like that energy. I like that energy a lot. It's gonna be a good week.
This Monday was not a super Monday like a Monday that they typically are. So
Mhm.
it was good. But let's dive into what we've been playing because I'm very excited to talk about Dragon's Dogma 2.
Me too.
We'll try to keep it a spoiler free, but I mean to be honest, like there's not that much of a story that I've really seen so far.
Yeah, it's more like personal stories that happen.
So we'll talk about that here in a second. But I wanna kick off with the Order 1886. I was very high on this game last week. I'm not so much this week.
Did you finish it?
I did finish it.
Okay, okay.
But the ending was ass. Like it was it was kind of so bad that
like
I was like, man, they didn't need to tell the story. I guess I mean to be fair, like it ends.
You can spoil it if you want.
Well, it ends like it's supposed to have a sequel. So that was probably the plan the entire time, but obviously we never got one because the game just didn't sell that well. But yeah, it ends on the same exact boss. Well, it's a different character, but the same exact boss fight you did about halfway through the game, which is an interesting fight if you do it once. But when you do it, when you have to do it twice, it's not so great. It's almost kind of reminds me of one of the boss fights from Callisto Protocol, where you have to like maybe that final boss fight.
Okay, it's a one-shot boss.
It's not a one-shot boss, but it's melee focused, like completely melee.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just and the game is like very heavily on like button mashing and like quick time events. Like it's very quick time heavy. But I mean, all that being said, I did enjoy the game. I think it's worth going through for $10 or so if it's still on sale. Very cool atmosphere, but yeah, that ending just
sucked the wind out of the sails.
Yeah. I didn't feel like it overstayed its welcome because like I thought I did the fight and then the credits rolled. I'm like, that's it?
Wait, there wasn't like any additional story after the fight?
There was like a one cutscene like at like the mid roll credits like in the middle of the credits that indicated there's more
there should be a sequel.
There should be a sequel or DLC or something. What's going on, Noodles?
Noodles.
Yeah, and it just kind of felt like it ended very abruptly.
That's weird.
So, yeah, very very weird. But other than that, I thought the game was solid.
Okay, but just not as high on it as you were last week.
Yeah, just that ending was like because I was really enjoying the story for what it was. Like I said, like the atmosphere of the game was really cool. Like I enjoyed all the characters in the game, and it just didn't feel like it was I don't know, like a rewarding ending from what I was expecting.
Mm-hmm. Man,
nice playing Dragon Dogma 2 right now. We're gonna talk about here in a second.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, we will.
Nick, tell me about some Final Fantasy.
Dude, still loving it. About 30 hours into it at this point. I'm on chapter 9. So I've reached like another big open area. And I think the last time I played it was Friday.
Okay.
And then I switched back over to Dragon's Dogma, and
As
it's
one
kind of
does.
kind of taken over. But I'm really enjoying it. The story's definitely picked up, and like there were a couple of like I don't want to say smaller chapters, but chapters that weren't just like you going through open world checklisty type stuff, and it was more
Yeah.
story focused. And I thought those chapters were really good. I think overall this game is a huge improvement over remake. I still stand by that point.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the combat is a lot better. Chapter 8 does have, I think, a superfluous amount of mini games that are a
Okay.
requirement to play. And chapter 6 was kind of like that as well. So it's really throwing a
Are
lot
they
of mini games.
introducing new mini games, or is
It's a
this kind of what's
mix.
already been established?
It's a mix of new ones and old ones. So like a
Okay.
lot of Queen's Blood is still being played, but it's a lot of new ones as well. Like there's like a boxing one that I wasn't a huge fan of. There's like a Chocobo racing one, which played a lot like Mario Kart. So
Okay.
that was pretty
Well,
cool.
they do have that Chocobo racing game, like the
Right. Yeah, I
like
forgot about that one.
the
uh yeah, there's so many mini games, arguably too much, but I'm glad they like went in that direction rather than having like filler side quests of
Yeah.
like go here, collect 3 whatevers and kill whatever. So I'm glad they went in this direction, but it feels a little bit shoehorned in at this point in the game. And I know there's gonna be a lot more of it too.
And is there any, you may have said this before, is there any story related any of these mini games? Like, does it
In the chapter I was just on, yes, it was like there was story revolving around
okay.
the mini games. Like, he went to a place that had a bunch of games essentially. Uh, but there's not like story. I mean, I guess there's like side quests and side stories dedicated to like Fort Condor and Queen's Blood, but some of it ties into the main story. Like some of it's just kind of like interweaved into the main story. Like in one
Okay.
of the chapters, you're playing in a Queen's Blood competition, so like you're kind of forced into playing the mini game, which is fine. But yeah, it's kind of weird how they choose to interweave it with the story.
Okay.
But
Well, that's cool.
otherwise,
At least there's something to
yeah,
it then to
something
kinda
something
push you
else to
through.
do. But yeah, still really enjoying it. But
Okay.
swept away with good old DD2.
Well, like, you wanna talk about it?
Let's talk about it,
Okay.
man.
I mean, where do we start? Like, I probably put a couple of hours into the first one, to Dark Arisen.
Same.
Didn't I don't know. I don't know if I had just played it at the wrong time, but it didn't super click with me. Um, but this game, like,
Go, let's
immediately.
talk about like the first hour, because okay,
Okay.
you were about to say it immediately clicked with you when you started it up.
Yeah, I mean, it took a little bit of time to kind of, like, get into it. So I ended up I picked a thief,
Same here.
which doesn't feel like a thief per se. Like,
Yeah, feels
it's
like a
very,
quick stir or something. I
yeah,
don't
he's
know.
very quick, and I haven't picked another class yet. Like, I unlocked the sorcerer, I think, and I don't think I've unlocked
Did you
the,
unlock the warrior?
well, I think you start with the warrior. Like, I think is a warrior, thief, the
Fighter,
fighter.
mage.
Okay,
Yeah, the
so I
warrior
don't.
you unlock in
Yeah,
the yeah.
yeah. I think there's a quest that you get where one of the vendors gets like their items stolen or something. You have to go to the Goblin Cave, and I end up giving the guy the staff. So I unlocked the vocation for, I think, is it called sorcerer?
Yeah, you didn't get
Okay.
the other thing there too?
It only gave me the one. I could only choose between the two.
Oh, wait. When I did it,
Oh, maybe I missed it.
there were 2 chests.
Oh,
Yeah, I would get back there.
okay. Well, because when I did the quest and I was talking to the person at the inn, um, it said, "Do you want to turn in the sword or do you want to turn in the staff?" So I turned in the staff, and then it didn't give me an option to turn in the sword.
But you got the sword?
I guess, but I don't have a sword in my inventory.
That's
I don't
weird.
know.
'Cause,
Maybe it's
yeah,
a
I just
glitch or
unlocked
some
both.
jank or something. Because the only other issue I've had with the game, as far as like glitch wise, I was playing last night, uh, and then I saved, turned it off, whatever, um, and I jumped back into it like using
Like the quick resume.
the quick resume, and I had lost some of my armor. I'm not quite sure what happened. I went
Weird.
back and I went back and looked, and I didn't see where I dropped it, or there was no. I mean, there was nowhere for me to stash it because I was doing the mission where you have to go into the ballroom and uh, I don't know, spy on the
Oh, the false.
yeah, the false arisen. Um, I completed that, and I think I did one other mission maybe, and yeah, and then it was gone. I'm not quite sure what happened.
That's weird.
When you buy a new class, you get basic weapon and equipment for free. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't when I when I changed to the warrior class, I was, like, instantly over encumbered, and I was like, "What the hell happened?" And then I looked, and I had yeah,
Yeah, and
all the warrior gear.
I was getting pretty frustrated early on because once I got to the capital, I was over encumbered. And
Yeah,
I was like, "Okay, man." I was like, "This is feeling very Starfield-ish. That's why I quit Starfield because I was just like, I'm tired of being encumbered all the time." But then I went to the inn and just I was like, "You know, I don't need to
you
be
can
carrying
build
all
your
this
stuff.
stuff." Just I because I was carrying around like all the equipment upgrades, and I was like, "Well, I don't have a lot of this stuff to even upgrade, so let me just throw it in here." And then I was a lot. Then I was
Yeah,
good. So
and giving it to your pawns helps too.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so that I was a little, like, put off by it at first, but now and then especially when because you can find those golden beetles, and
yeah, yeah.
those increase your carrying capacity, so that helps too, and then I think, like, at level 10 and level 20, you get an increase
Okay,
to your capacity, so it's yeah, I would say it gets better as you go on,
yeah.
but yeah, like, it didn't really, like, totally click with me at first, like, it felt a little bit archaic, just like the menu layout, and
Menu layout. There's no lock on, which is weird.
it's weird, I'm over it now, and
Yeah,
it feels fine, but yeah, at first, it was kinda jarring, and then I had that first fight with the ogre.
yeah.
I was like,
Is that the one? Was
"Okay,
that the
this
one
is
out right
sick."
outside of the capital, like in that
Yeah,
kind
the
of in
one
that
where,
corner
like, you
tucked
end
away?
up breaking the wall, and the water comes flooding in and breaks the
Oh,
gate.
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I know
Yeah,
what you're
that
talking
one.
about. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I
Oh,
remember.
but
Yeah,
you okay, I know the other one you're talking
yeah.
about, though,
Well,
the
that
Cyclops
yeah.
fight.
The other one is I think that ogre's just in the wild, but yeah, there's the one that's story related. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, once I fought that, I was like, "Alright, this game is cool. This
Yes.
game's
There's something
super
about
cool."
like in that particular instance, it's like your pawn, and then I think like a troop of like guards or whatever. But yeah, there's something
Mhm.
about like you and like four other humans just like climbing onto this ogre, just stabbing it over and over again.
And then just getting yeeted across the
Yep.
across the battlefield. Have you been caught by your pawn
I have not
yet?
been caught yet.
Oh, man, I've been caught a few times now, and
Really? Okay.
it's so funny, like, they just kinda, like it feels like they appear, but I think they actually run over to you while you're in the air and,
Oh,
like
okay.
and land where
That's
you're
pretty
gonna
cool.
or, yeah, catch you where you're gonna land. There's been some really, really funny moments, and,
Yeah.
I don't know, one thing that happened to me last night is I went to it was like a checkpoint town, and it's part of the main story mission to get to, like, the next region.
Yeah.
And I got to the checkpoint town, and I thought I had to go back to, Vernworth, like, the main capital, to do something. So I took the ox cart, and I went back there,
Yeah.
and then I realized that the thing I needed was in the city or in, like, the town I was just in. So I wanted to go back, and I took the ox cart, and then I was ambushed by a cyclops,
Okay.
and it was in the middle of the night. Cyclops breaks the ox cart, so I can't travel any farther
Oh gosh.
using the ox cart, and I was, like, halfway. I was only, like, halfway there, so I had a long ways to go.
So
But luck
when you got into the ox cart initially, did you
I dozed off. I
You dozed off, so
slept.
you were trying to skip the ride.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then I woke up and the Cyclops was there.
interesting. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then I went to there was like a camp or a campfire right nearby, so I got that and just slept till morning. And then I was like, okay, this is totally fine. Like I'm just gonna walk. I'm gonna take a different route, and I'm gonna go to the place I was trying to go to, but just take a different way there.
Yeah,
And then I proceeded to get sidetracked for like 2 hours because I
nice.
found this castle and you could see like a dragon and an ogre fighting each other. And then I ended up getting to the very top of this castle thing, and I found a sphinx that was
Okay,
asking me all these riddles, and like it gave me like a fairy stone and uh what's that other, like the port crystal, like I got one of those. So I got a
yeah,
bunch of cool stuff, and I was like, dang, like I'm glad that my ox cart got attacked by a cyclops because it made me like go out of my way and do other stuff. So, there's a lot of complaining about like the fast travel system and how they're trying to, sell you the fairy stones. But I mean that's how the first one was. Like
yeah. I mean,
it wanted you to travel on foot and find new
and
stuff.
that's what the director said. He said, if you've got a fun game where like traversing through the environment, there's always something to do or look at, then
Mhm.
you've done it right. Like you should never want to fast travel in these types of games. And I get like both sides. Like people want to be able to fast travel, and you can. You just have to,
You
you
pay the
can't just
price.
willy nilly use it. But you do have the ox carts as an option, to hopefully you'll get there, without being ambushed or something like that. But yeah, it honestly, it feels like I'm playing as like the Fellowship of the Ring from Lord of the Rings. Like I got a
Yeah, it
group of
does feel like
people
that.
just going like there was one part where I think I was traveling. I was doing one of the first like big quests you get for the story is like you have to get like an invitation to the ballroom, or to the ball, and you have to like kind of prove yourself. So you have to like kill all these different types of monsters, and they're all kind of like spread out across the land, and you got to help this one, people in the cave, and then there's the little town on the coast, like the southwest coast,
Oh yeah, yeah.
where it's been destroyed by the dragon. And I had got there and I finished up that mission. And then I needed to get back to, is it Vernworth?
Yeah, Vermworth.
So I had to get back to there, but I was like, you know what? I was like, I pulled up the map. I was like, okay, I think I can go this way. So I stayed along the coast and I went through the cave. And it started to get dark. And then it was about 30 or 40 feet. I got into the cave. All I saw was these two giant pairs of eyes. And then the next thing I know, there's like an ogre right in front of me. And I'm just like, oh shit. And I was already like we were pretty like beat up. Like I
Yeah,
love the
you were
pawns because
looking for
they're like, we need rest. I don't know how much farther we can go on. And we were just we were getting wrecked. And then like I ran, and then my main pawn had went down. So I had to go back and get her.
yeah.
And then I ended up getting killed. Um, but, so then I was like, "Yeah, all right, let me," I think I went back into the town, and I think I was able to purchase a camp, or the
Okay,
tent or
yeah.
whatever. So then I just camped out at one of the fires, and then, got my health back. Because I think I can't remember what it's called, but, like, when you can't get any more health, like, it, like, halves your health bar.
Yeah, I think that happens when you get hit, like, every time you get hit, your total health decreases a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know,
But
and
but
when
s
you
but
die and
something like,
respawn.
something happened, and, like, it tells you when it happens, like, that it's part of one of the systems, and it popped up on the screen explaining to what but I can't remember exactly what it's called, but, yeah, I
Mhm.
had that, so I only had, like, a quarter health,
Oh,
but,
so
yeah,
you're
it just felt
running on
like
empty.
I just felt like I was on this mission to, like, "Alright, we gotta make camp,"
Yeah,
and I
it's kinda
wasn't
like a
able to do
survival
it.
game
Yeah, a
in that
little bit.
regard. Like, you feel like each time you leave Vernworth to go out, like, you're preparing for an adventure, and and it feels like anything can happen in this game. Like, you can be fighting a Cyclops, and a Griffin can show up and
Yeah.
start fighting you as well, or a Griffin can show up out of nowhere. Like, I was about to cross this bridge, and there was an ogre on the other side of it, and it destroyed the bridge before I crossed it.
Yeah.
But then it fell, and
Okay, so that's
grabbed.
happened to you. I've seen that. I've seen that video
Yeah, and
before.
yeah, I grabbed the other side, so I like ran across it and then started attacking it from behind. So there's like a lot of just really, really cool stuff, and I don't know how frequent it's going to occur. Like I probably put like 15 hours
Yeah.
in this game, maybe, but yeah, none of the things that have happened to me yet, I've been like, oh, well, I've seen that before, or
Yeah.
like, oh, this again. Like maybe I've fought, uh, an ogre or a cyclops, whatever, one of those a few times, but each time feels like a different fight. You know,
Yeah, I love the combat in this game. Like every time there's like
yeah,
a combat encounter, it's just so much fun. Like again, I've been playing as like the thief, and he's got like the ability to like light his blades on fire.
oh yeah,
And I went into you probably already been there, but like it's like the nameless village.
hmm
It's like I guess like a kind of like a thief guild, but like I finished that mission, and because I was a thief at the time, I got like one of their like legendary abilities.
the dodge one,
The dodge one,
that one's
and then
sick.
I got that one, and then I got another variation of like lighting your blades on fire, but I think it does more of like a fire blast, like when you light it up initially.
And it sets you on fire.
Yeah, yeah. So that was really cool. Yeah, there's just a lot of moments in this game where it's just like, man, this is awesome.
Yeah, and like, yeah, the thief stuff is really cool too. Like what's it called, like the gut and run, where you get up and you plant a bomb, and then like it jumps off for you. Like
Yeah.
there's that. I would try out the warrior
Okay.
too, because that one, it's very like heavy and very slow, but there are some very cool attacks with that one, like the running and stab one, like where you just pierce somebody and
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
and
I saw that the TikTok earlier of you like
yeah,
running and stabbing it.
like that
Well,
one's
see,
really cool.
but I created my character on the intent of I guess I didn't know you could switch. So I thought I could only play as a thief. So my guy's like very super tiny. He's like always hunched over. Like he's got like yellow slick back hair. Like he looks like a creep. Um so
Ah, I love that. I heard there's like some really cool late game classes that you can unlock.
okay. I think there's like 10 total maybe.
Mhm.
Um but yeah, I mean it's just like
It's
again like
crazy.
I at first I was like, man, this fast travel thing, I don't know about this. And then I went on like that first big adventure to to the coast and made my way back and I was just like, hell yeah, this
Shit
is
was
awesome,
sick.
man.
Yeah, the variety in combat between the classes is so excellent, and I wanna try the archer class too, because like, that one
Yeah,
has some pretty cool abilities where, like, you can run up and just, like, kick off of somebody,
that's cool.
like, kinda very, like, acrobatic type stuff, and then, uh, I have a warrior pawn on my team, and they have an ability where they, like, hunch over on the ground, and I can step on them, and then they launch me in the air.
What?
So they can, like, launch you onto the top of a monster.
Yeah.
That's it's so sick. Like, there are so many cool abilities in this game. It's unreal.
Yeah, just like just the movement, like when you're jumping up on a like a rock cliff or something, he does like a front flip and like it's
Yeah, it's
the
so
movement
stupid.
it's yeah, it's so dumb in like the best way. And then just like after every encounter, like you and your pawns will either like do like a like nice crispy high five or they're like,
Yeah.
whatever, like awesome. Um and then just all the pawn stuff, like I feel like just them being able to collect stuff as you're going through the world.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like some will like if you got like a marker on the map, they'll say, "Oh, follow me," and you just follow them. That's really cool. Yeah, it's just man, this game is it feels like a little bit archaic in some ways, but in some ways it's like it feels like really fresh. Like
Yeah, it feels like they're going for something.
yeah,
Going for something different, and I can definitely vibe with that.
yeah. How do you think of the visuals? Like I don't think the game looks like super great,
I
but
think it looks pretty good.
yeah, I mean it looks good, but like I don't know.
I think it looks better than a game like Elden Ring.
You think it looks better than Elden Ring?
Yeah.
Okay,
Especially when you're out in the open,
okay.
or out, like, in a field or
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of like
overlooking.
there's like a ton of foliage and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the visual direction of Elden Ring is better, but the actual like graphical fidelity of Dragon's Dogma,
Yeah.
I
I mean,
think
there's
that's a little
definitely
better.
like some issues too. Like there's some pretty bad like lip syncing issues that I've seen.
And some
Um
frame rate issues in the
definitely
city, especially.
yeah, definitely some I mean, I don't have anything crash or anything, but yeah,
Mhm.
I've seen it dip well below 30 at some points. I was trying to think of something. There's something else I wanted to say. Never mind. I don't know. Okay, it'll come to me. But
Yeah, I don't know, man. Something about this game
yeah,
feels really special, and I hope it doesn't wear off. Like, I hope it doesn't like lose its luster, or I hope the lack of a fast travel doesn't become annoying, because right now I love exploring,
yeah,
and yeah, it's just fun. It's just
yeah.
really fun.
It's scratching that itch that like Tears of the Kingdom gave me, where I just want to explore,
Mhm.
and with Elden Ring, where you just want to get on your horse and just explore and see what you can find. Like it's definitely scratching that itch.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
there's gonna be an expansion noodles. I don't know if they have announced that or not, but that doesn't surprise me.
yeah, it feels yeah, it's a lot different. I mean, it's obviously way different than like current open world games, like even something like Final Fantasy 7,
Yeah, yeah.
or probably probably Rise of the Ronin. Is that it's I mean, it doesn't give you a bunch of markers on the map. It
Which I love.
just yeah,
Like
I love that because
I'd
it's
prefer to
everything
like
feels
put my
natural.
own markers if I want them there. If not, and also like I love the same thing with like the Elden Ring map where it's just like a like a hand painted like map
Mhm.
that's exactly what it is, and you just kind of have to fill it out as you go along. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely some
some Elden
somewhat Elden
Ring.
Ring
Yeah,
vibes. Which hey, I'll take it.
yeah, yeah. I will. I'll definitely take it. I'm just excited to play more of this game.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
yeah. It's definitely one of those games where I'm like thinking about it when I'm not playing it.
Yeah. Have you heard of the plague thing that
I've seen some stuff online
okay.
about it, but I'm not quite sure what it is. Like, I know it's, like, something to do with the pawns where
Yeah,
has that
just
happened to you yet?
be diligent. I no, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think any of my pawns are infected, but I do need to get rid of, like, my 2 secondary pawns
Yeah.
just 'cause
Well,
I
I was
need some high
traveling with,
levels.
I think one of the first it was in the first couple of hours, like, this, like, 8-foot tall mage walked up on me, and I was like, "You look a lot like Gandalf," and then his name was Gandalf. And I was like, "Hell yeah, dude, you're coming. I don't have a mage in my party." And it's cool because
That's
like your
sick.
pawns will say, "Hey, we don't have a mage," or like, we could really use an archer or something like that. So it's like they kind of remind you, "Oh, we've been traveling together for a while. Let's let's boot at least one of them and get something else." So and then the
Yeah.
pawns have like their own side quests, like kill an ogre or something like that. And you can get a fairy stone out of it, or whatever the case is.
Mhm.
It's cool. I like the pawn
It's a
system a
really
lot.
cool system. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like you're playing kind of like somewhat co-op with your buddies, but obviously it's single player, but it's not like a lone, it's not like it doesn't feel ever feel lonely because you've
Mm.
always got somebody with you.
Yeah, always get your friends, you're always high-fiving,
Get your
they're
group.
always pointing stuff out to you. It's not a lonely experience.
No, no, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about Dragon's Dogma? I mean, I know we're still pretty early. I don't know how long this game is. Feels like
I
it's
think it's
probably
somewhere in the realm of 30 to
for
40
the main
hours.
story.
Probably less for the main story.
Okay. Yeah, that seems right.
Yeah, because if I'm probably a little bit farther than you in the main story, because I just, like, finished that kind of the checklist of quests you can do from the guy,
Yeah.
and then now he's sending me to the next region.
Okay, then we might be pretty similar because I'm on that spot now too.
Okay. And I think that's like the second half of I think there's only 2 regions,
Oh, okay. Okay.
so
Cool.
on the latter side of the game, maybe,
Yeah.
probably not, but yeah. it's really great.
Yeah.
Probably gonna end up my like favorite game of the year so far.
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely so you like this more than Final Fantasy?
I think so. It's just more my kind of game.
Yeah.
Like I
Okay.
much prefer the exploration and like the combat over the story stuff. So not to not uh, rebirth any, but
Yeah, I mean, it's a different type
it's
of
just a different type of game.
yeah. Cool. Well, we'll probably be talking about Dragon's Dogma for for a little while in the coming weeks, just as we go through the game. So
Mhm.
we'll talk more about that. But oh, I guess we'll talk about the. I guess we can talk
Oh,
about it in the news, but the controversy with it, like the microtransactions. Um, I did a video earlier, just saying like I don't know if this came out of like people not playing the game, and it probably is the case because anytime you say microtransactions in a single player game, people are gonna snuff at it, and
Mhm.
I totally agree for the most part. But it's not like like I in the video I was like, okay, this is the boot up screen, like it's just either new game, continue story, and then there's like a Microsoft store at the very bottom. Like
Which
there's
most games
no
have.
yeah, there's no like I'm gonna call it Ubisoft, but there's no like stupid Ubisoft Connect or anything like that where you have to like log into a server. You don't have to. There's no like obviously there's no battle pass in the game. There's no like battle pass thing. There's no hey check out the store and get yourself some extra fairy stones for your
Yeah.
adventure.
There's
There's
no
none of
prompts.
that. Like it's
Yeah.
not even. I didn't even know there was microtransactions in the game until people were starting complaining about it. Um, and all it is like, yeah, you can buy fairy stones and I think maybe gold, but it's not like an endless transaction. It's just a one-time purchase. You get the items. It is what it is. You don't have to choose to use it at all if you don't want to.
Yeah,
So
it's exactly what Capcom has done in a lot of their games from the past couple of years. Like Resident Evil 4, you could buy a bunch of stuff. You
yeah,
could yeah, I mean, yeah,
it's in
you
Spider-Man. Spider-Man's got options to buy, extra skins. So it's
mhm.
nobody complained about Spider-Man having that stuff in a single player only game.
Yeah, and I feel like this one's a little bit different because it actually helps with the like, with the game itself. It's not just aesthetic, but
Yeah,
I like, it kinda detracts from the experience, like, having to buy fairy stones. Like, that's obviously not how they want you to play the game. So,
yeah,
like, sure, like, maybe you have like, very limited time, and you just wanna be able to, like, play the game, but get around faster than you could on the ox cart or by searching for fairy stones, and yeah, like, okay, maybe you wanna buy one. Um,
Noodles, is that $60 for one single skin, or is that just like you paid $60, got a bunch of skins? Because that's egregious if that's if that's the case. That's crazy.
is that for Dragon's
Street Fighter
Dogma?
Street Fighter 6. Oh, it's a skin bundle. Okay. Yeah, that's
Okay.
insane. Like $60 is crazy. But yeah, I mean like RE4 had stuff like that. I mean they all every single player game has somewhat of an option to buy something. Like every game
'Cause
has that.
you gotta be able to monetize it in a different way.
Yeah, and I know people are a little bit upset about this one because of the weird, fast travel stuff where it's very limited, and maybe this is like some people are maybe thinking, okay, if we limit the fast travel, maybe this will entice people to want to buy these stones and just have extra. But I
The
don't know
first
if you
game was very limited.
yeah if you read the interviews with the developer, I mean like they specifically said if you create a fun world to actually traverse in, people aren't going to want to fast travel as much. I don't think I don't think they're going that route as far as trying to hold stuff back from you in order for you to pay
Mhm.
more out. I don't think that's the case with this game, but people can think whatever they want. But I don't know if you just play it, I think you'll understand.
Yeah. Like, you can be upset about the frame rate. I mean, you can be upset about whatever. I can just understand being
Yeah,
upset
like the
about
frame
frame
rate
rate,
stuff, like they like maybe get a little bit upset about that, but you know,
but I will say that
which I did hear they're
it is
patching the game too.
yeah, I think they're doing, like, a small patch, but I will say the frame rate stuff has not detracted from my enjoyment of the
I don't
game.
think so. Like I haven't really noticed it all that much, to be honest. I mean, I've
Yeah,
noticed
because
it, but
like
like I'm not like, oh man, like what is going on right now? Like it's so like it hasn't gotten so bad where like it's been more like an afterthought at this point.
mhm. Like when you're all four of you are fighting a beast in the middle of the woods. Like I'm sure it slows down to a degree, but at the same time, it feels so chaotic anyways that like it's not as noticeable as it would be in another
Yeah,
game.
Noodles. It's bad in the town on console too.
Yeah, the town
That's probably
sucks,
where the
but
worst is.
yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you're not fighting anybody. It's just
No. Although I did have like goblins attack.
they attack the town.
Yeah, they attacked the capital when I
Oh,
was
well.
I was just chilling, and all of a sudden, like the goblins came in.
I wonder
I
if
did
it's
have
worth
one experience where I was over encumbered, and I was trying to get back to the inn, and I was using like the swift step ability that the thief has, and I
Mhm.
don't know if that is considered like an attack or something, but
Oh
I
god.
got to the inn, and the inn person like ran away in terror. And then like a guard comes out of nowhere, and he's like, you can't be doing this here. And then he starts attacking me, and I killed him. And then I was like, well, I don't want him to like die, so I brought him back to life with the wake stone because I had one. And then he started attacking me again, and then a bunch of other guards came in, and I ended up getting killed. So I don't know what the deal with that was.
Maybe it is because it's like that's a unique skill, so maybe it treats it as a weapon or
Yeah, and
treats it as an attack.
I was spamming it trying to get back to the to the end, but yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what happened with that. And then it happened to me again here recently where it was right after have you done the mission where you can buy the house from that lady? So
No.
there's a lady you come across in the capital, and she says, "Hey, you know, I'm gonna go travel. If you could stay at my house for 7 days for a week, you know, and just keep an eye on it." And all you gotta do is kind of sleep there a couple times, and then you meet up with her again, and she's like, "Oh, you can, you know, I'm gonna be moving. You know, give me 20,000 credits or whatever the um whatever the money's called in this
Currency.
game, but yeah, currency. Give me 20,000 and you can buy it from me." So I did that. And then as soon as I did that, guards came up out of nowhere, and they're like, they had pulled their swords out, and they were just staring at me. And I'm like, I just went back into my house and just went to sleep until the next morning. And then they left. I was like, okay, I don't
Was that a
really understand what happened, but
is that a scare tactic?
I guess, I don't know. So there's been some weird, like janky stuff with that. But yeah, it's been a good time.
Nice. Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, let's move on to we'll move on to the news here. We'll start with the Princess Peach and Rise of the Ronin. Both those games, are they both in the 70s?
Both in the 70s. Yeah, I think
Okay.
Rise of the Ronin's a little bit higher than Princess Peach, but yeah, both in the mid 70s, I
Okay.
believe.
And that's what I think we probably both anticipated those reviews being.
Yeah, I expected 7 out of 10 for Peach and yeah, probably the same for
Yeah, Peach
Rise
just
of the
sounds like
Ronin.
it's a fun game, but it's very easy, and I think there's like some of the levels are a little bit long, so if you miss one of the collectibles, like you
Mhm.
have to like redo the whole thing, and like I don't know, that just doesn't
Yeah, that's
sound
annoying.
very appealing to me. There's not like chapter selects within each level.
There
So
should be. Yeah, because yeah, the level I played was like relatively long,
yeah,
longer than I thought it would be for
and
sure.
it's one of those things where and I think some like a lot of Mario games have that issue where like if you go down the wrong pipe, all of a sudden it takes you to the next part of the level without like a really good indicator on, okay, is this like a side pipe? Is there something, you know, or is this like the main pipe to take me to like the end of the level? Like I feel like this game does that a lot too, which is
Yeah,
frustrating when, you know, there's no chapter selects and the levels are, you know, somewhat long.
I did have both of these games on Fantasy Critic.
I do have Fantasy Critic pulled up here.
So you had a hit out on
Princess
uh
Peach.
yes, on Princess Peach, which means that if it scored below a 70, you would get points. And
But
because it scored a 75,
I got negative 5 points.
you got so that's risky. I mean, I've won on you for Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, which that game looks pretty good.
I
I
watched
will
the
say.
trailer for that, and it looks really fun. I'm very excited for Sparking Zero. It looks
Yeah,
It looks
That
real
hit
good.
might have been a mistake.
Yeah, it looks really. I feel like this is gonna be like, yeah, I feel like that game's gonna be
Like
reviewed pretty
Fighter-Z
well.
level
Yeah, like
of
yeah, of quality. Like it looks really good. I'm
Mhm.
super excited for it. Um, yeah,
And then you had Dragon's Dogma, so you
yeah, I got 18 points for
18
that.
points. That's pretty good.
So I guess it's what 1 point. Once it hits 70, you get 1 point for each score going
And then
up.
once it hits 90, you get 2 points
2 points
for
for
each.
each. Okay, that's pretty cool. So I guess just to we'll summarize real quick. So you've got Nick, you've got Final Fantasy Rebirth at 26 points, massive score. Persona
Big
3
big
Reloaded 18, Princess Peach Showtime you get 5 points for that. Unicorn Overlord 18, and then you got Rise of the Ronin which got 6. So you've got a total of 76 points, with a budget of $92 left. On my side, I've got Tekken 8 at 20, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth at 20, Mario versus Donkey Kong Remake at 7, Dragon's Dogma 2 at 18, and then I got negative points for Princess Peach because I tried to call you out. But I think you've had, let's see, you've had 1, 2, 3,
I
4,
think I've had one more game than you.
5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so you've had more. You've had one more game come out than I've got on my list. So Stellar Blade is next for me, coming out at the end of April, and then we don't have another game until May.
Yeah, because May is Hellblade 2 and Thousand Year Door, which I have both of those.
Yeah. So
Stellar Blade, that was a good pick for you. I think
yeah,
that
I'm excited. Speaking of Stellar Blade, there is a demo coming this Friday on the 29th, which we kind of figured there was because it leaked, right? That demo leaked out.
Mhm.
And then that's right, because we were talking about
It was
that.
released, yeah.
It was released, and then PlayStation took it away from you, even if you had downloaded it. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I definitely needed a demo to kind of push me over the edge for this game. So hopefully it's good. But
Yeah, yeah. I think it could be like really good. Hopefully it's like a near automata level type game
yeah,
or level of quality. But we'll see. We'll
yeah,
see. Yeah, but you can play the demo now that you have a PS5.
I know. I'm very excited.
Oh wait, I meant to ask, have you played any more of Demon Souls?
Okay, yeah, let me talk about that real quick. So I was getting very frustrated with Demon Souls. I had I've cleared the first like level 1, I guess is what they call it. Like I cleared that the Phalanx boss. Pretty cool
That stupid
boss.
boss.
What we say?
I said that stupid boss.
Yeah. I've ended up beating it on my first try. It was a very pretty easy boss. I mean, you just had to kind of run around the environment a little bit so it would spread out, and then you can go in and kill all the individual ones and kind of whittle the health around down. And then I made it to the bridge and got to the Tower Knight, and I got crushed pretty much. So I tried that a couple of times, and I was like, man, this bridge is very long, and I was like, I can't make it. Like, there's one section where you just can't. It was so long that the dragon kept coming, and I was like, okay. I was like, man, something's got to be there.
Yeah.
This can't be. This can't be the only way. So then I ended up finding like the secret route underneath the bridge, and then it kind of takes you, pretty much all the way, and then you can. Then there's like one more spot you have to kind of run out in the open, and the dragon will kind of come behind you. It just takes so long to get to the boss in that particular instant. Like there's not really any shortcuts outside of just kind of avoiding the dragon. So I didn't love that, and I still haven't beaten the Tower Knight. So then I tried going to, I think, one of the other worlds, like it's like the mining level. I ended up kind of
That one's
working my way.
hard.
Yeah, that one was very hard. I ended up working my way all the way through it. Got to the armored spider. Died a couple of times. I unlocked like the shortcut, so I tried it a couple times, and I was like, I'm probably just not leveled enough for that one. So I tried the Tower Knight a couple of times again, and then I tried one level where you start out at the bottom, you have to kind of work your way up, and it's like a bunch of enemies, and they kept pushing me off, and I was like, man, I don't know about this game. I started getting very frustrated. And then, that's when like my armor started to degrade, my weapons started, and I was like, I got to deal with this on top of like this game just kind of constantly giving you the middle finger at like every corner.
Yep.
I was like, man, I was like, I don't know. I was like, I haven't beaten every single FromSoft game, so it's not like I'm got that on my mind or anything. But I was like, I like this game. Like, I like the combat. Like, it looks fantastic. And then I ended up going to one level. It was like on an island or like a shore or something, and there's like a bunch of like
Yeah.
skeleton enemies. And I started grinding for souls, and I was really starting to grind, and I started feeling really good about it. So now I've leveled up. I've got all my weapons back up in order. I ended up getting like a scimitar, which swung so much
Oh,
faster
nice. Okay, I remember
than the
that.
base
Yeah.
sword. Like, because I had upgraded the sword a little bit, but it was still kind of it was still kind of slow. And then I found that scimitar, and like it really started to click. And that was Thursday before Dragon's Dogma came out. So I haven't played it
Okay.
since. But it really started to click with me. I mean, I probably spent like 2 hours just grinding like all those enemies. 'Cause they give you a lot of souls for that. I think I tried the Tower Knight one more time, and then I was like, and I got one shot it, and I was like, what is going on? And then I realized, okay, my armor degrades too, so I had to start rebuilding that back up.
Okay.
Um,
I went through the same thing as you,
yeah,
where I struggled with 1-2 with the Tower Knight, and then I went over to 2-1, tried to
yeah,
do the armored spider, and I think I ended up I beat the armored spider before I ended up going back to the Tower Knight, but
okay,
I read online. I was trying to get some help, and the order that people were telling others to do it in was like, do the first boss of each area first.
yeah,
So like go through like 1-1 and then 2-1, then 3-1. And that kind of helped instead of like going straight from one. I keep using these numbers, but from 1-1 to 1-2,
yeah,
from the phalanx to the Tower Knight, go from the phalanx to the armored spider, and then from the armored spider to whatever the next one is on
yeah.
the other warp point.
Yeah, I was looking at that stuff too. Like, yeah, I think the suggestion I saw was after you beat Phalanx, do the next world and get like a decent amount because you get a lot of like weapon upgrade stuff,
Mhm.
weapon upgrade
Oh
items,
yeah,
which
yeah.
which which comes into play. Um, but yeah, Noodles, you're right. It definitely feels like a pretty dated Soulsborne game. In terms of like the layout, like it doesn't feel like there's not a lot of like um circling back, kind of, scenarios that I've seen so far. That may change in like later on in those levels, but yeah, so far there's not a ton of that, and that kind of stuff I obviously love in the Soulsborne games. There's not a lot of like bonfires or whatever they're called in this game
Mhm.
that I've seen so far. So yeah, it definitely feels dated, but man, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful game, man. Like the art
Yeah, it
style is
is.
incredible. Um, and then the fact there's no flask also, like, kind of, like, kills me
Yeah,
because I'm
it's
like, we have
weird.
to use these stupid, I don't know what they're called, but, like, the healing items, and I don't love that. Like, I didn't love that about Bloodborne, where you have to find these consumable items to rebuild yourself, because if you die over and over again at a boss, you're gonna lose your items because you
Disintegrates.
use them, and then you have to, like, farm, and I don't love that. Same thing with Sekiro. I didn't love that in Sekiro where I had to farm for, the I can't remember what they're called at this point, but so you could use your special arts. Um, I didn't
Oh, I
love that
forgot that
about
was a
Sekiro.
consumable.
Yeah, I didn't love that about it. I, I tolerated it in Bloodborne because Bloodborne is just, it's Bloodborne, but
Okay.
um, yeah, Noodles, the grass stuff. I think there's different variations of the grass. And then the fact that like when you die, you get half your health bar cut in half, and you have to find again another consumable to get rid of that. And then like what if you die at the boss fight, and then then it's an endless cycle.
There is a
Um,
lot working against you
yeah, it
in
just
that
feels
game.
like it's immediately just like
It's like
it's like, all right, here's one middle finger, and then it's like, okay, and here's the second one. Okay, we're going to Target, we're getting the 2-for-1 special. Like, it just feels like a punch in the dick the entire time.
Yeah.
But I like it. I mean, it's a Soulsborne game, so, like, I of course enjoy it, but, I wanna go back to it. I am kind of craving it, but, I mean, Dragon's Dogma's kinda taken over my gaming time, but,
Yeah.
yeah, I wanted to I didn't wanna just end the game on a negative note and be sour about it, so I'm glad I finally I'm still not over the bosses, but I'm to the point where I'm like, "Okay, I can grind at this area and at least get stronger," and I feel like, each run feels a little bit better.
Yeah, I think after those bosses, the rest of the bosses are a lot easier. Like, they really, like, front loaded the more difficult bosses, in my opinion, and the rest of them, I mean, some of them, are kind of, like, bullshitty,
Yeah.
but most of them have, like, some sort of gimmick that makes them way more manageable than
Yeah.
the Tower Knight. I mean, the Tower Knight has the gimmick of, like, you're supposed to attack its ankles, and it falls
Yeah.
down, and then you can do a crit. But the Armored Spider, that one feels like it's out to get you with that stupid, like, lava move that it does where it
Yeah.
spans the entire hallway.
Yeah, and then, like, you got the archers around the Tower Knight too shooting. I'm like, "Is this were the archers really needed? Are they, like" it's kind of overkill to
It's
me,
like insult to
and then
injury.
he's got, like, his stomp where it just does, like, AoE attack where, yeah, it's just not super fun. And then the lead up to the bosses also takes forever on the Tower Knight too, so it's just like, man, it's like all that stuff. I was like, "I don't know. I don't know about this game. I wanna like it, but man,
They
it
coulda
feels
just
like"
added they coulda just done the Elden Ring and added that one checkpoint before the boss. Would've
Yeah,
made
like
it so much
the
better.
one right after you come up out of the underground part, like, they could have had one right there, and I would've been very happy or
Mhm.
happier. Because then, like, I kept getting, like, killed by the stupid there's, like, 5 or 6 dogs in that underneath area, and I kept getting
Yeah,
killed by
those are
them
really annoying.
a bunch. I was just like, "Man, like, this game just
Can't catch a
hates
break.
me." Just nonstop. So, yeah, I'm gonna go back to that eventually, but, yeah. It's damn
Nice.
good looking. It's so
It
good
really
looking.
is.
All right, so we talked about the Rise of the Ronin and Princess Peach. There was a report that came out from I don't know if this was directly from VGC that initially reported, but I've got their website pulled up. But since Dragon Dogma 2 uses the RE engine, there's reports that RE9 could be somewhat open world or open world.
Mhm.
Um, so this comes from says according to Twitter user Dusk Golem, who has a long track record of reporting information about video games before it's been made public. You know how we feel about leakers around here, but Resident Evil 9 is being developed in an open world game. Dragon's Dogma 2 expanded our engine functionality for open world games. The two other games building on this tech is Monster Hunter Wild and Resident Evil 9. So there's some various tweets that he does. While Resident Evil Village allow players to traverse between several larger semi-open areas, the main series has yet to experiment fully open world. And then it just goes on talking about like the different high Metacritic games that Capcom's had in the last couple of years. But we briefly talked about it before the show started. But how do you feel about RE5 or RE9 going going open world?
I don't think I want it to go fully open world. I think that'll kind of, like, bog the game down, and I just don't want them to get caught up in the traditional open world stuff. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like they had a really good thing going with 7 and Village. And I don't necessarily think the Village was as strong as 7,
No, definitely not.
but still very fun to play. Like, I
Yeah.
still really, really enjoyed that game, and I think they could continue with that momentum and, Noodles, I agree with your comment about Evil Within too. Like,
Oh man, yes, yes, that would
have
be
those
perfect.
kinds of open
Yes.
world, like semi-open world, like longer chapters kinda like that rather than having this
That
giant
is a
wheel.
great comparison, Noodles, because Evil Within 2, while I had a problem with, like, the overall movement, like, I felt like the running was really slow,
Yeah, it was.
um, that is a great comparison because that game is incredible. I love that game so much. So yeah, something like that or, like a city like Raccoon City where they could maybe cut off areas. Yeah, I mean, I thought Resident Evil 8 was pretty open for the most part. I mean, I feel like that was kind of a perfect for that. But Nick, has Resident Evil 9, has that been confirmed first person shooter or first person?
I don't
Or
think
do
it's
we
confirmed, but I think it will be.
Okay. Are you what are your thoughts on that? Do you want the main stories, the main series to continue first person?
I think for this trilogy, I just wanted to finish out in first
What's
person,
going on, Jim?
and I'm hoping that like they can try to fit in some sort of Metroidvania aspect into this semi-open world or this open world,
Yeah.
and kind of like make it explorable that way rather than just having like a completely open area. Uh, but to answer your question, I hope they just stick with first person for this game and then go back to third person for Resident Evil 10.
Yeah.
Just to complete the trilogy. Like I didn't necessarily well, I don't know if I love the gameplay of the DLC for
Did
Village.
you finish the Village DLC?
Yeah.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess spoilers. Obviously, you go back into the Metamycete as an adult with Rose. Did you leave Ethan there? Did he just die there, or was she able to get him out?
Leave him.
Okay.
Like, I think he's dead.
Yeah, because I mean, well, I think it was revealed that he
Spoilers, I guess.
died in. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, spoiler. I mean, we said spoilers, but um, yeah, I guess it revealed that he died in 7, right? And then the Metamycete, the goo stuff, whatever, kept him alive, which makes sense why he gets all these body parts ripped off and they can
Right.
go back on. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. So yeah, does it take place? I mean, are you playing as Rose? No, well, I guess she's done because she loses her powers too at the end.
See, I don't know who you would play as.
Yeah, I don't mean
Unless you play as Chris. But then are you playing as
yeah.
Chris years later, like in Rose's time? Or are you playing Chris right
Yeah,
after Resident Evil
because
8?
I mean, he's already in like his 40s, right?
40s.
30s or 40s. So
I mean,
like,
if you're going with Rose, like all of the main crew is in their 60s.
yeah, because I mean, she was like what 18 in the DLC, something like that, 16, 17,
Mhm.
18. So yeah, they're well into retirement. Yeah, that was an interesting. Yeah, that was interesting. Well, I guess
Because
I guess it wrapped up like Ethan's portion of the story, and they could still have some other stuff going on.
I thought they were gonna follow Chris in the DLC with his like, because he was continuing to, or he got in the helicopter and he started going. Where was he going? I don't know. Him and Mia were going somewhere, and I thought that's
Yeah,
where
maybe.
it was going to go. But maybe that's where the sequel is going to go of you playing as Chris or playing as Mia. Africa. Yep, going back to Africa.
Going back.
Yeah,
He's got to finish his job.
Actually, that would be funny if they did a Resident Evil 5 remake and then Resident Evil 9 also took place in Africa.
I don't think the internet could handle it, to be honest.
I don't think they could. I really don't think it could.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't think
for Resident Evil, whatever Resident Evil 5 turns out to be.
I don't think IGN could handle it, to be honest.
No, it could be like the best game ever, and I think it would review poorly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where. Yeah, I don't know exactly where Resident Evil goes after into 9. I do want them to continue the first person stuff, but I want it to be scarier than Village was for sure. And I don't know if you're going to be playing as like me or something, but I mean, obviously like Raccoon City is destroyed right at this point in the story, like it's been nuked. So I don't think there's a chance of going back there, but maybe something like in a city environment where like you take you're in like a massive outbreak, like that could be really cool. I don't know. Yeah.
A new character, maybe that
or new character.
Maybe like a feels like a civilian, kind of like Ethan, but then midway through it ties back into Ethan and Chris's story. I think that would be cool. Like you see the beginnings of an outbreak in a town, and I don't know, it kind of takes that, Last of Us route, like the beginnings of the virus, or at least
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about that first episode of the show where it kind of showed the first day. We always want a game like that. The first day, whatever. First day.
I really hope. Speaking of The Last of Us, I really hope part 3 is like a Joel and what's his brother's name? Joel and
Tommy.
Like I really hope it's because they could do. I mean, it's 20 years between the first initial day and then I think that could be.
They could do a smaller game, kind of like Lost Legacy, Uncharted.
That could be really cool.
Like a 10-hour or something. Well,
like a 10, 15 hour, like something small. Like we talked about it before. Like why don't these studios do smaller games within these universes? Like it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because you could still charge 60, 70 bucks. I mean, you could get away with it.
Yeah.
Realistically, if you wanted to, and then have Last of Us Part 3 come out where you're playing as Ellie or whatever. But yeah.
Right.
Like I said, we love the
origin stories.
The origin stories of that stuff. That was like the best part of the show. Let me pull up the article for. So it's heavily rumored that an Xbox handheld is in the works. So I got this article pulled up from IGN. So Microsoft is heavily rumored to be preparing to release an official Xbox handheld. And while he stopped short of announcing it in the new interview, Xbox boss Phil Spencer went as far as to say what he wants from it. So like it feels like it's all but confirmed at this point, which is really cool, because like I kind of want an Xbox handheld, and it sounds like they're doing it the right way. Where it's going to be, native, or you can at least download the games onto the system and not do what PlayStation did with the Portal.
Mm-hmm.
But it says, speaking in an interview with Polygon, Spencer discussed various existing PC gaming handhelds, listing everything that he would add to the experience of using them to make them feel like an Xbox. This includes having access to all your games with associated save files, being able to boot up into Xbox app full screen, but in a compact mode, and having all the social experiences normally found on Xbox. I want it to feel like the dash on my Xbox when I turn on the television, Spencer said, except I want it on those devices. Spencer danced around the existence of the Xbox handheld throughout the interview, insisting hardware innovation linked with software innovation creates a real inflection point in our industry, pointing to the success of the Nintendo Wii in the process. So yeah, it sounds like there's something in the works.
I wouldn't be surprised if we heard something more concrete later this year.
Yeah, and obviously we have the leaks from last year indicating we're getting that, the all digital Xbox Series X, the cylindrical model. So that could potentially come in. Obviously, with the recent interview or the podcast, Sarah Bond obviously mentioned they're having their next generation hardware, but there's also something going to be talked about this year, like near the holiday. So who knows exactly what that means?
Right.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of stuff going on with the Xbox.
Yeah, and I think we both wanted to have native, to be able to play games natively, and I don't know exactly how that's going to work. I mean, you think about a Steam Deck that has a lot of issues running, games that aren't Steam Deck verified, and I don't know, but technologically, we're at a point where handhelds can have the same, if not similar, parity to a PS5 or a Series X when playing a game natively, not on the cloud. So I'm hoping that's what it is. I would love it for it to be like a companion to the Series X, where you can just take it wherever you want and not have to use the cloud, but I'm sure that'll be an option.
Yeah, and then
put in
I
the
guess I'm
cloud.
thinking about it like if it's going to be like a native device like a Steam Deck, it's probably going to be pretty
Pretty
expensive.
expensive.
So it's like, are you going to shove out another 400 to $500 for this thing just to play your stuff on handheld?
See, I don't
That's
know.
yeah
I don't know. If it was really cool, maybe, but
yeah.
it's
There's
still a lot to.
yeah. It's got to be pretty like it's got to have a competitive price because a lot of people love their Steam Deck. Um, and like the the ROG Ally and stuff like that. So there's definitely a market for that stuff, but and obviously you'll probably be able to use this thing if it's gonna be native. You don't have to have an Xbox. You could just buy it.
See, that would be the selling point
Yeah.
for at least for new users.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, you could do the same thing with the Steam Deck where you can plug it into your TV if you want to, and then have it like a controller or something separate. So, yeah, that sounds cool. But now that I'm thinking about the price, I'm like, do I want to drop 500, for something like
to be
that?
able to play the same games.
Same games, but just on the go. And I work from home, so I'm not really away from my house too much to kind of justify that price. Uh, And then
Yeah.
Noodles, what? Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be called something, something goofy.
I heard like Xbox Series P,
Series
Series
P.
Portable,
That's gonna be memed. The,
Series PP.
the Series PP, the Series Peener.
I heard another one, the Passport, which is like a mix of Game Pass and portable Xbox Passport.
Okay,
That's a pretty catchy name.
the Xbox Passport. Okay,
I don't know.
yeah, I think it's cool. I
Yeah.
think it's definitely a cool.
I want to see them do it
Yeah,
at the end of the day. Like,
I mean, it's been rumored for forever that they were
they've
going to do some
always
sort of
like, yeah, I
handheld.
feel like even since like the 360 era, like what's their answer to the PSP? What's their answer to the DS?
Yeah,
And we've just never we've
what's
seen
the
so
deal?
many like mock-ups of,
Yeah, yeah. I want to see them at least do it. If I am interested in one, who knows exactly, but yeah, I want to at least see them give it a shot and see how it works.
yeah.
We already talked about the Stellar Blade demo. Last news story. Larian is officially done with Baldur's Gate 3. I think they already put out all like the extended endings and stuff like that, evil endings.
I think they did.
Okay, so yeah, they're officially done with Baldur's Gate 3. They're not doing any sort of DLC or expansion. And they're not doing a Baldur's Gate 4. They're going to do something different. Now, I'm sure there will be a Baldur's Gate 4. Wizard of the Coast will probably, get another studio to make a Baldur's Gate 4, but Larian is officially done.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to step away from like the D&D space because
It's a massive undertaking.
yeah, and they have to share their profits with. Wait, what's the company called?
Wizards of the Coast.
Wizards of the. Those are the makers of D&D. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
they own the IP.
Yeah, I think they had to like give them. Like
Yeah, and they also
$80 million
also did Pillars of Eternity as well. Yeah.
Right.
So they've been wrapped up in that stuff for quite a
long
while.
time.
So they probably now they said they were going to do something familiar. So we don't know if it's going to be another IP, or if it's going to be or an existing IP, or if it's going to be something brand new. But I think they've established themselves as like a CD Projekt Red type of developer, where I'm sure anything that they put out, people are going to be super hyped for.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, probably another CRPG. Maybe they even do like a licensed game. I'm hopefully not. I'm hoping they kind of do their own thing.
Yeah,
that's probably what they're going to do if they're not wanting to work with Wizards of the Coast, and just like if they're getting away from that, I'm sure they're just wanting to do their own thing for a little bit, work with their own.
Did you beat Baldur's Gate 3? Okay.
Haven't beaten it yet.
Any interest in going back to that someday?
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely want to. Oh my God, that's like my fatal flaw is I can't finish an RPG.
Yeah, that is true.
It's
Outside of
been
what remake is that the last one you've completed?
yeah, because I still need to get back to Yakuza or
Okay.
Like a Dragon, Infinite
Yeah.
World.
Jeez.
There's been too many good games coming out.
That is true. And there's been a lot of great games. It seems like we're kind of starting to get a little bit of a lull, at least. I mean, is Stellar Blade the next is that the next big game to come out? I mean, there's Pepper
I think
Grinder
so.
this week.
Shit, I forgot that was this week. Is that this?
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, trying to get through a co-op is it can be a little challenging. Noodles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pepper Grinders this week, and is that the last kind of? I mean, I know there's other games coming out, but is there anything else? I mean, I wouldn't mind a little bit of a break, to be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that either. I think that's it for a while.
Okay.
Until May.
Yeah,
at least.
there is that Zal game that comes out in April, that the one that I talked about last week, the Metroidvania.
Yeah.
That one looks really interesting. But who knows? I mean, there's still that forever rumored Nintendo Direct that could happen at any point.
Might be right around the corner. Yeah.
Yeah, could happen in April.
Get up next week.
Do you think if they do a Nintendo Direct, Nate, do you think it's like a pretty early in April? Or do you think they do like mid-April?
I think it's earlier.
Like the first week?
I think it's early in yeah. But no, maybe like maybe second week, but
Okay.
I don't know. I can see them dropping Prime 2 in this one. I really can.
Man. Hey, man, in the next 2 weeks we could have a Prime 4 trailer and a release date. That would be insane.
So did Jeff Grubb say marketing push starting in May for?
That's what his source said, but I think that was some point last year.
Okay.
And I think that may have been prior. We still don't know if there's a delay or not, but I mean, all the different outlets saying that it is, it kind of makes sense. But I think that was prior to the internal delay for the Switch 2. So yeah, but yeah, May was the marketing push, but
okay,
who knows? He said Metroid something. He didn't specifically say 4 or 2 and 3, but yeah, I mean, I think
it probably means all of
2
them.
And yeah, I mean 2 and 3. I can imagine. Maybe they don't do a stealth drop for it, but they'll probably come out pretty quick, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I don't think you talk about one without the other at this point, between 4 and the 2 and 3.
Yeah, that's a lot. If they put 2 and 3 out before 4, and 4 comes out this year, it's a lot of Metroid.
Yeah,
it's a lot of games. But hey, people want them. I mean, I definitely want to play them.
Mm-hmm. They're good. Oh, 3. I mean, I haven't played 2, but 3 is really good.
Oh, you haven't played Echoes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's right. The 3 was on the Wii.
3 was the Wii.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 2 on GameCube and then one on the Wii. Okay. All right, Nick, is there any other news that you can think of? Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it up?
I think that's it, man. I think that's all I got.
Cool. Well, we of course appreciate everyone that was in chat tonight. We definitely appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
Yeah,
everybody listening to the audio version. If you guys can review us on your favorite podcasting platform of choice, I think, is it Google that's shutting down? Google Podcast, I think, is shutting down.
Oh, they're shutting down?
I think so. Yeah.
Damn.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we have any listeners over on Google, but yeah, wherever you like to listen to your podcast, if you can leave us some sort of review or I think Spotify is just stars. That would be
Yeah.
awesome and much appreciated. And we'll be back next week with definitely more Dragons Dogma 2 talk
Oh,
as we make our way through the game. Probably play some more
yeah.
tonight, to be honest. And then whatever else there is to talk about.
Whatever strange news happens over the next week.
Yeah, whatever happens. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'll let YouTube algorithm pick one of my videos below for you guys to watch. Give it a click, and I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video.